Greetings. My name is T-Man. Welcome to After Dark. These are a couple more stories from my childhood and early adult life, I'd say. I wouldn't say it's early, but maybe in my 30s, that I've never really been able to explain. They're not the kind of things you think about during the day, but at night, when everything goes quiet, they come back. Small moments, strange feelings, things that don't quite make sense, no matter how many times you try to rationalize them. I don't know if they were just coincidences or something else entirely, but I remember exactly how they felt. So tonight, I'm going to share them with you. Story number 1. Hand in the Tree. This happened when I was a kid. I was walking home from a friend's house. It usually takes about 30 minutes. And that night, it was around 11 p.m. The streets were empty, and the distance between each streetlight felt longer than usual, because in between them there was nothing but darkness. From my previous experience, I already knew that feeling, that quiet fear sitting in your chest. But at that age, you either act brave or pretend to be. I kept walking. There were about 3 streetlights left before I got home. In the distance, I could hear dogs barking, and then howling. I had always been told that when dogs howl, they can sense something we can't. And right when that thought crossed my mind, something hit the ground near my feet. A rock. It came from behind me. I stopped, slowly turned around. There was no one there. No footsteps, no movement, just silence. I was standing between 2 streetlights in the dark, but I could just barely make out the rock on the ground. I stared at it, and then it moved. Not rolled, not from the wind. It moved like something had kicked it. I froze. My chest tightened, and I could hear my own breathing getting louder. For a moment, I didn't know what to do. Then I did the only thing that I could. I kept walking, pretending nothing had happened. But in the back of my mind, I kept thinking about that hill near my house, the same hill where I once heard footsteps following me. That memory wouldn't leave me. As I reached the last streetlight before the hill, there was a tree standing beside it. The bottom half of the tree was swallowed by darkness, but the top half was lit by the streetlight. And for some reason, I looked up, and that's when I saw it. A hand. Coming out from the shadows of the tree. It wasn't falling, it wasn't reaching. It was waving me over. A slow, come here gesture. The hand was at least 3 meters high, or maybe more. There was no way anyone could be standing there. No ladder, no branches low enough to stand on. Nothing. Just that hand, moving, calling me. And for some reason I waved back, a small awkward goodbye kind of wave, as if I was trying to convince myself it wasn't real. But my heart was racing. I could feel the chill down my spine, all the way to my fingertips. I clenched my fist so tightly, trying to feel like I had some control, trying to feel ready. But I wasn't. I was terrified. I walked the rest of the way up the hill without looking back. Every step felt heavier than the last. But nothing followed. Nothing happened. I made it home. But when I stepped inside, it felt like my soul had been left somewhere out there in the dark. Story number 2. The apartment on Barclay Street. This happened in Melbourne, Australia. I think I was around 30 years old, and at the time, 30 plus, I'm not too sure. It's been a while. At the time, my ex-partner and I were renting a small apartment. Our lease was coming to an end and we were looking for somewhere bigger. She ended up finding a place on Barclay Street, on St. Kilda. I couldn't make it to the inspection, so she showed me everything through a video call. It looked perfect. Clean, bright, peaceful. We felt lucky because we got it before it was even listed. When we finally received the keys, we went together so I could see it properly for the first time. As I walked in, it looked exactly how I imagined. You enter through the kitchen, then further in there's a bathroom, and then the master bedroom with a walk-in wardrobe. Everything felt normal up until I stepped into the bedroom. The moment I walked in, I felt a chill. Not cold air, something else. Something that didn't belong. I said it out loud. There's something in here. I told her I could feel it more coming from the walk-in wardrobe. She didn't believe me, so I let it go. We moved in, and the first night something changed. We were both lying in bed, and I felt it again. Stronger this time. It felt like something was on the wall watching us. I didn't say anything. I didn't want to sound paranoid, you know. Eventually we both fell asleep, then suddenly she woke me up, panicking. She had a nightmare. She was crying, and I held her, trying to calm her down, and she said, "There's something chasing me, and there's something on that wall." And I froze. I pointed to the exact spot I had been staring at earlier, and she said, "Yes, that's where it was in my dream." After that night, it didn't stop. She had nightmares almost every night. Some nights she was too afraid to sleep in the bedroom, so she slept in the kitchen, especially on nights I wasn't home. Back then, I was working night shifts, so she was alone most of the time. And whatever was there, stayed with her. For me, it was kind of different. I couldn't see it, but I could feel it moving from the wall into the walk-in wardrobe, like it had a place, like it knew where it belonged. Some nights there would be a loud bang on the window, but we were on the 3rd floor. We had a balcony, but there wasn't a balcony to stand on the window. There's no ledges, no nothing. But I swear, on top of that, the corner of the window, I saw something. A shape, a hand, or even maybe a head looking in. After about a month, I've had enough. Her nightmares were getting worse. So one night when she woke up again, scared, I got up. I looked straight at the space where I could feel it, and I said, "F off. I'm done with this. I'm here. You're not welcome." I couldn't see it, but I could feel it. And in that moment, it felt like it moved, like it backed away. My fear turned into anger. even though my body was still covered in goosebumps. But after that night, everything stopped. Her nightmares, the feeling, the room, the presence, gone. And whatever was there never came back. And those are two more stories that I've never really been able to explain. Moments that didn't make sense then and still don't now. But there are a few more that I remember, and maybe I'll share them another night. But I'm curious. Have you ever experienced something like this? Somewhere? Something you couldn't quite explain, no matter how hard you tried. So, if you have your own stories, feel free to share them. I'd love to read them, and maybe even tell them here one night. Thank you for listening. My name is T-Man, and I'll see you after dark.